All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome, wonderful to see so many of you here in person, and we have lots of folks out in Zoom land as well joining us. I'm Nick Fisichella with Schoodic Institute at Acadia National Park. We're a nonprofit partner of the National Park Service and a center for inspiring science, learning, and community for a changing world. And our role is to engage people in the science and solutions to rapid environmental change. And so really pleased to have you all here for Giving Tuesday. A big thanks to Machias Savings Bank for being a sponsor, and also a big thanks to all of those supporters that are enabling the science and the solutions here through supporting Schoodic Institute, including here on Giving Tuesday. I think we have already over a couple dozen donations for this day. So thanks all for your support. And we're going to get into a little bit of the work that the Institute does here and enjoy some wonderful music with our special guest, Gordon Thomas Ward. And we'll talk about the work and specifically our early career fellowship, and we'll get to meet with 3 of our fellows who are also with us here tonight, who are really that next generation of conservation professionals that are going to be leading the response to climate change here in Acadia and across other cherished areas. And so I get to now introduce Gordon, and I won't be able to do this full justice, and so he'll have to fill in a little bit more on himself. But Gordon reached out, it was about 2 years ago. I'm not exactly sure of the timing, just because of the crazy vortex of the pandemic that it's hard to remember exactly when things happened anymore. But Gordon reached out to me and to the Institute to see how he could help put a spotlight on the work here that's happening here. And so we had Gordon on stage last year, actually on this night, and we have him back again this year. And so really excited for that, really excited to have the music happening here. And I'm a scientist, and there's a lot of interesting parallels in science and art, including music. And in both of them, there's so many similarities. Scientists and artists use their creativity and their passion in their pursuits. And they are both about understanding and reflecting on our world and our place in our world and all the changes and challenges that we face, but also, so importantly, also the better future that we can create together. And I think that's a big part of Gordon's work as a musician as well. And as I was looking at his bio, this is the part that really stood out to me. Gordon is at heart a storyteller who paints musical portraits of our emotions and brings the past to life while pointing to a hope-filled future. And I think that hope-filled future, that's a common piece, I think, that we have, that we are working towards. And at Schoodic, we're trying to create a better future for parks people and the planet. And I think music plays a really important role in our lives in doing the exact same thing. And so I'm going to stop talking now to let Gordon come up here, do a proper introduction of himself, and to share a little bit of his music. And then we will have a conversation with our fellows, followed by then a little bit more music. So please sit back and enjoy. And please join me in welcoming Gordon.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you who are here in person. Thank you to all of you that are tuned in on Zoom. I think that introduction was just fine. You missed the astronaut part, but yeah, I'm happy to be here tonight. I was just telling Nick that when we moved up here, when my wife and I moved up here in 2019, we chose Winter Harbor largely because of Schoodic Institute. So I'm happy to do this show tonight for them and for all of you. I'm supposed to tell you, or I want to tell you that if you're online, hopefully at some point during this set, you can go to SchoodickInstitute.org. There's no www, just SchoodickInstitute.org, and consider making a donation for Giving Tuesday. And also want to let you know that there won't be an official intermission. So you guys are free to get up and get more wine, get more beer, there's lots of great food out there. So I'm not going to be offended at all if you get up and get something to eat and then come back in or bring it with you. I think they can bring it in here. Yeah, bring it in. Great. Dance in the light, let it rest upon your shoulders. Learn from the wind, 8,000 whispered souls. Sail through the sky on breezy wings of zephyrs. Reach for the stars, let heaven be your guide. For you were born to dance with angels, nothing holds you down. Fill your life with love and laughter, make a joyful sound. For you are brilliant. Follow your heart through all life's crests and canyons. Smile every day, it will lighten all your cares. Swallow the sun, be the candle in the darkness. Weather the tears as earth receives her rain. For you were born to dance with angels, nothing holds you down. Fill your life with love and laughter, make a joyful sound. For you are brilliant. You are brilliant. Fuel the fire in your heart, let it shine and shimmer. Your gifts are yours alone to share. And I know you can dance with angels, nothing holds you down. Fill your life with love and laughter, make a joyful sound. Yes, you were born to dance with angels, nothing holds you down. Fill your life with love and laughter, make a joyful sound. Yes, you were born to dance with angels, nothing holds you down. Fill your life with love and laughter, make a joyful sound. For you are brilliant. You are brilliant. Brilliant. Yes, you You are brilliant. Thank you. So a little sound check here. Is it loud enough? It's okay? Cool. Guy in the back says it's loud enough, so it's good. It is beautiful out here on Schoodic Point. It's like a little bit of heaven. And I should know about heaven because I am the Savior of the world. All men and women, boys and girls, they send their ceaseless prayers to me while worshiping on bended knee. It's not easy being God in a world run ragged and roughshod. Billions of people call my name, enough to drive a deity insane. My view from heaven's quite a sight, with angels round me robed in white. My office on the second floor, without a doorknob on my door. They serve my meals on plastic trays, meatloaf and Jell-O Saturdays. I live in placid luxury, with padded walls surrounding me. Some of my children you might know share paradise that I call home. We meet most every afternoon, except when we have a full moon. Cleopatra and Rousseau, Washington and Jacques Cousteau, Marilyn and Elvis too. Hey mama. Napoleon from Waterloo. My view from heaven's quite a sight, with angels round me robed in white. My office on that second floor, without a doorknob on my door. They serve my meals on plastic trays, meatloaf and Jell-O Saturdays. I live in placid luxury, with padded walls surrounding me. People call me different names, like Jehovah, Yahweh, all the same. They ask me, are you God or just a man? I just smile and say, I am. When I offer up advice, they turn and mutter, Jesus Christ. But every year at Christmas time, they sing of me when church bells chime. They sing, Hallelujah, heaven's newborn King. Hallelujah, hear the faithful sing. My view from heaven's quite a sight, with angels round me robed in white. My office on that second floor, without a doorknob on my door. They serve my meals on plastic trays. Meatloaf and Jell-O Saturdays, my favorite. I live in placid luxury, with padded walls surrounding me. I live in placid luxury, with padded walls surrounding me. One of my children on floor 3, he beseeched an audience with me. So I was escorted to his room by my angels in the afternoon. He told me, hey man, I believe in you. Won't you take me to heaven when I'm through? He closed his eyes, his spirit soared. So I took him to the second floor. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to those of you at home too. Both of those songs are off my new record called Whispers from the Woods that got to be number 3 in the nation in the alternative folk charts. Don't ask me what alternative folk is. Who knows? But this one, thank you. This one is not from that record. This is a song called The Ballad of Joseph Martin that is off my my Eiderdown record, which is the one that came out in 2020. What a time to release a record, right? May of 2020. Yeah. This song pays tribute to Maine war hero from the Revolutionary War called Joseph Martin, but it is also a song for all our veterans out here. So any veterans in the audience, thank you for your service. Yep, all that. And thank you for your service. Just sounds so trite, but really thank you. And those of you at home, I'm sure there are veterans out there that are watching. So there's a place in this song where we say, we salute our citizen soldiers, raise your glasses high. So if you have a drink, you can raise it. If not, you can pretend. If you're wearing glasses, you can raise them too. Doesn't matter. Well, my name is Joseph Martin. I hail from Prospect, Maine. I was raised down in Connecticut, where I learned the farmer's trade. My father was a preacher man, but I picked up my gun in the war for independence till that bloody fight was done. The bloody war was won. I left to fight the Redcoats when I was just 15. I saw what eyes should never view in battle and in siege. From Morristown to Mifflin, White Plains to Valley Forge, saw traitors hanged and heroes die as they went to meet their Lord. Ooh, they went to meet their Lord. We salute our citizen soldiers. Raise your glasses high. They left their homes and families, look the devil in the eye. We salute our citizen soldiers. We'll drink a toast to thee, who suffered for our freedoms, preserved for you and me. When surrender came at Yorktown, our victory bittersweet, I settled down near Sandy Point and I raised a family. I served as justice of the peace and farmed the land I owned, and recalled my veteran brothers and the debts that they were owed. Ooh, the debts that they were owed. Here we go. We salute our citizen soldiers. Raise your glasses high. They left their homes and families, look the devil in the eye. We salute our citizen soldiers. We'll drink a toast to thee, who suffered for our freedoms, preserved for you and me. Soaked to the bone, froze near to death, and marched for 30 miles. My belly ached from hunger, longed for a lover's smile. We struggled through those dangerous days, the times that tried men's souls, and stood our ground with hearts on fire as the cannon thunder rolled. The cannon thunder rolled, 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 the thunder rolled, rolled. And so, my friends, through much fatigue and many dangers past, I've lived to say this war-worn soldier's braved his way at last. But don't take freedom for granted. Don't forget the price we paid. And remember me, a patriot, when you look upon my grave. We salute our citizen soldiers. Raise your glasses high. They left their homes and families, look the devil in the eye. We salute our citizen soldiers. We'll drink a toast to thee, who suffered for our freedoms, preserved for you and me. We salute our citizen soldiers. Won't you raise your glasses high? They left their homes and families, look the devil in the eye. We salute our citizen soldiers. We'll drink a toast to thee, who suffered for our freedoms, preserved for you and me. Suffered for our freedoms, preserved. For you and me. Thank you. Put one of my children down, pick up another. This is a song that's off my Providence record. It's my second record. It's a song that I wrote out in Prospect Harbor. listening to the bell buoy out there. Song started out to be about the bell buoy, morphed into something completely different. But I'm playing it tonight because it was written right here. Out on the ledges, the harbor bells ring, marking the channel and tides, singing like sirens obscured by the fog, a song that my heart can't deny, a song that my heart can't deny. It calls and it beckons, a mystery unseen, the voyage we all have to bear. The ebb and the flow of the waters so deep that leave me gasping for air. Lonesome and sounding the depths of my soul, treading the waters of time. Life on the margins, year after year, like a couplet that yearns for a rhyme. On these ledges that no one will find. Chained to these treacherous waters of love, I covet, but I'll never swim. The passage is rocky and fraught with despair, a gamble I can't seem to win. Lonesome and sounding the depths of my soul, treading the waters of time. Life on the margins, year after year, like a couplet that yearns for a rhyme. On these ledges that no one will climb. Pulled by the currents, weathered by storms, my tolling bells echo the sound of the ghosts of the lovers now lost in the mists, love's wreckage that fate ran aground. Lonesome and sounding the depths of my soul, treading the waters of time. Life on the margins, year after year, like a couplet that yearns for a rhyme. On these ledges that no one will climb. Out on the ledges, the harbor bells ring, marking the channel and tide, singing like sirens obscured by the fog, a song that my heart can't deny. On these ledges that no one will climb, on these ledges that no one will find, on these ledges that no one will climb, on these ledges that no one will climb. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to do one more, and then we're going to have some interviews. With some really hard questions. I asked people when they came in, just write down some random questions. I said they will know the answers. They will know. No. This is a song off my new record. That's about immigration. And I felt drawn to write this song because found out, I guess about 9 years ago or so that, and I had no idea about this, that my mother's side of the family traces back right through every single American war, through the Mayflower and over to Charlton, Musgrove, England in the 1500s. So in Europe, that would be young. You know. But over here, I had no idea about that. So it changed my whole perception of immigration, and we just finished Thanksgiving, and all of a sudden those iconic pictures of the Pilgrims were like, wow, that might be my relative, you know? So this is called Fly, and it's about immigration. Together, faithful pilgrims and our kin, say goodbye to friends that we will never see again. Board a wooden ship to take us far across the sea, to a new land called America, where we will all be free. Brave the storms and sickness, consequences of our dream. Settle on a coastline in a place we've never seen. Some of us will prosper if we manage to survive. Others make their peace with God and lift their eyes to fly. Challenges and changes fly. The dream is worth the dangers. Fly, fly. Harness up the horses for the trail that's heading west. Say goodbye to friends that we will never see again. Drive those Conestogas across the mountains, great divide, to a place called California, land of gold, where eagles fly. Challenges and changes fly. Dream is worth the dangers. Fly, fly. changes fly. The dream is worth the dangers fly. Set out north as refugees from war and violence, driven from our homelands we will never see again. Our children could be dreamers if they crossed that desert heat. To America, our huddled masses yearn to flee and fly. Challenges and changes fly. The dream is worth the danger fly. Challenges and changes fly. The dream is worth the dangers fly. Thank you. All right. We need a Nick. We need to get that microphone. Yeah. We're going to have a little conversation with our fellows now. Nick, I think you're going to introduce them. Okay.
Can I get close to that
Yeah,
microphone, or
come
do I
right
need
up.
to stay away from it? All right, great. Excellent. Thank you, Gordon. And awesome. All right, I have to get out my notes here to keep myself on track. Make sure I'm also on Zoom. Great. So focus of our work here is climate change adaptation. And so this is really about helping plants and animals and other cherished resources of Acadia and other protected areas adjust to rapidly changing conditions. And this is really a focus of conservation today, and a recognition that it is the big challenge that we face. All right, thank you. All right, yes, I have a face for radio, I believe that is, yes. And so it's really the next generation of conservation champions, of conservation professionals that are going to be addressing this change, climate change, and really over the next several decades, over the course of their careers. This is going to be a focus. And it sounds kind of crazy to say that, the next several decades, but that's the reality of climate change. It's kind of like a big ship. Turning a big ship takes a lot of time. You can't do it really quickly, and it's the same with the Earth's climate system. And so even with all the great responses that are happening and starting today, and the mitigation efforts that are ongoing to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions and carbon capture, it's still going to take several decades to really get climate change under control. And this is why we need to be building this next new generation of conservation professionals and a more diverse and skilled workforce in conservation than we've had in the past. And sort of the past model for conservation, for getting your foot in the door in this profession, was really taking on an unpaid internship. And that's a model that I came up through in conservation, and it has some real limitations in that, you know, not everybody can say go through college and all the expenses of college get out of college to get their first job. And what is it? It's an unpaid internship, really, after 4 years of college. And you know, not everybody is fortunate enough to be able to go through that process and have the means for that kind of an experience, an unpaid internship. And ultimately, it really limits the talent pool that we need in conservation for responding to rapid change that we're seeing today, and that's going to be continuing over the next several decades. And I guess that means I'm example of what happens when you limit talent pool. This is what you get in conservation. And so we know we need to change that. And I'm not the only one that recognizes that. And I can't pass up any opportunity for self-deprecating humor as well. But anyway, so this is something we've been really working on here at Schoodic, trying to build these early career opportunities. And one person who I believe is on Zoom today is Jim Jarrow. And Jim and his late wife, Kathy Jarrow, they came to us last year and really were interested in supporting the next generation. And through their amazing support, we've been able to start the Jim and Kathy Jarrow Acadia Early Career Fellowship. And so we have the first 3 fellows, the first cohort with us here tonight. And what we are planning is going to be a really long-term fellowship program, a permanent fellowship that we have here in Acadia to create these opportunities and these experiences that hopefully are springboards for their long careers. And the 3 fellowships, they focus on scientific research, environmental science education, and science communication. And we developed them that way specifically because we recognize the response to climate change. It requires research. It requires engaging learners of all ages in the science, and it requires communicating the stories of change in Acadia and the great people that are engaging in the solutions. And thus we have the research, education, and communication fellowship positions. All right, that's just a little bit of background on the fellowship program. And I think now I will hand it over to Gordon to ask those tough questions from the audience. And then we will, after conversation with the fellows, we'll get to hear a little bit more music, and then there'll be a chance at the end for some questions, both of the fellows and of Gordon.
Great. So I'm going to have Maya come up. Yay! Oh yeah. I'll use this mic, and we don't have to hand the mic back and forth. So Maya, we want to ask you how you became interested in conservation and science research, which is your chosen field of work.
Yeah, sure. Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Thanks for the music. I'm really enjoying it. My name is Maya, and I'm actually from Maine, so I'm from Ellsworth, and I became probably interested in conservation from the moment that I comprehended that there was environment. So I was, raised in the area, going to Acadia National Park, swimming in the ocean when I was, so small I could barely walk, but I could crawl to the ocean so I could swim in it. And
which tells you something about her. She's swimming in the Maine Ocean.
Yeah, it was colder back then. But anyway, so through all of that, I kind of came to love the place that I'm from and the community that has come to kind of live in this place as well. So the working waterfront and the people who rely on the land and have for long before we got here. And that kind of brought me to this area where I wanted to do what I can to work with people and to give back to the community that basically raised me. So
that's great. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Project ASCO, ASCO. What is it, and why are we interested in it?
Okay, so ASCO is actually short for Assessing Seaweed via Community Observation. So I'm a,
Could you say that one more time, just so people on
yes,
Zoom?
yeah, Assessing Seaweed via Community Observation. So I'm a massive seaweed nerd. I would talk about seaweed probably the whole length of this, but then people wouldn't enjoy your music. So this project is looking at a seaweed called rockweed, which is also known as Ascophyllum nodosum. And it's a really important species in the main intertidal. So I like to call it the Van Gogh of the intertidal. It's the one that is beautifully draped at low tide, and at high tide, it forms this three-dimensional structure that the other organisms live in. And so it's really important for the ecosystem, and it's also a resource that's harvested for animal feed, and so it's kind of intertwined with the economics and also the environment of the Maine coast.
Great. How are volunteers and citizen scientists involved in this?
Yeah, so we are running this project, which is looking at the biomass of this seaweed along the entire coast. And we're using a model of citizen science, which is involving people with varied levels of experience in data collection. And this helps get people involved in the data collection, but it also expands our reach. So I'm one person, I can go to, X number of sites, but if we have people getting involved through either attending our trainings or giving us access to their waterfront property so we can visit and survey their seaweed, that helps us to expand the reach of the project and do more for biomass data collection, which is what we're working on.
So if somebody wanted to volunteer, maybe somebody who's watching on Zoom or somebody in here or anybody, how can they get involved?
Sure. So the best way to get involved is to go to our website and then go to the Project ASCO homepage. And on that page, you can find my contact information and also a form where you can sign up to either participate in a training, which our trainings run in the summer. So that would be for next summer, or if you're a landowner and you'd like to offer access for Schoodic researchers and volunteers to come to your property, you can also do that as well.
So that website is a place where people can sign up and learn more about
Mhm.
this as well?
Yes. Yeah. And you can watch me talk more about seaweed, which is my true love. So
Nice. Thank you, Maya.
yeah, thank
Thank you
you.
so much. We have Michaela up next. Sales questions.
Oh, no.
So how did you become interested in conservation and your specialty, your little niche, which is environmental education?
Yeah. So similarly to Maya, I grew up spending a lot of time outside. I'm from upstate New York in the Finger Lakes area. So there's lots of lakes and waterfalls that I used to play with and on. And I went to college and studied geology and realized that a lot of my friends had never swam in the lakes before and didn't know anything about them. Some of them hadn't even seen a fish in the wild before, and it was crazy to me. And I realized that what I had was really taken for granted and not accessible to everyone. So I thought it'd be great to go out. And since I'm not really great at the science aspect, I'm not really good at like the data analysis. This is a great opportunity for me to educate others and give them opportunities to spend time outside like I did as a kid.
Yeah. And tell us about your work with kids and the SEA program. That's an acronym, SEA.
Yeah, so C stands for Schoodic Education Adventure. And I really like to emphasize the adventure part because it's really fun. And I'm a little bit biased, but I think it's the most fun opportunity we have at Schoodic. And we recruit 5th through 8th grade students from across the state and the local area and other states as well sometimes. And they come for 3 days and 2 nights and spend the night here. And we have NPS Rangers, the National Park Service, also takes part in this with Schoodic, and we offer scholarships to allow kids from across the school, like the state, to come and spend the time here. And we have a variety of programs ranging from like geology, phenology, which is study of seasons, and we go down to the tide pools and do all sorts of programs to allow them to get a wide variety of experiences and learn here. It's just a fun field trip.
So I've seen during the summer, I've seen groups of kids like out on the shore here. So that's
Oh yeah. If you
that's
see
the
hordes of
programs
kids
that
in
you're-
yellow vests, that's us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah. So so is that the full scope of the SEA program?
For the most part, yeah, it happens in the spring and the fall, and it's too cold in the winter.
So you mentioned students. Where are they coming from, and how old are they?
So it's 5th through 8th grade students, which is kind of a wide range at times. You're trying to teach a 5th and an 8th grader the same subject, but they come from mostly the main areas. So we provide scholarships so that we get students from poorer schools that have lower incomes, as well as private schools that come from other states. So we have a school from North Carolina and Virginia coming in the spring, which is really exciting. And we had one from New York this past fall, and it was awesome because most of them had never seen the ocean. So it was really fun to take them out to the tide pools and play with crabs and stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I used to teach middle school, so I can attest to the fact that keeping 5th through 8th graders, developing a program for all of them is challenging.
Yeah, some of the kids are using like bath mats as towels, and other ones are 6'5" and have mustaches, so it's tricky sometimes.
Yeah. Why is it important, or what is the advantage to doing immersive and overnight programming in Acadia?
Well, I think it's great because they get to take programs from day to day and like take the ideas they learned and carry them over and over. So we learn about climate change in one program, and you can connect that to future programs rather than having a one-off 2-hour experience that they might forget the next day. And it's also, especially after COVID, they lost out on a lot of opportunities for field trips and spending time with friends outside of class. This is a good opportunity for them to come bond with their teachers and the rangers and the interns, as well as their classmates. And they form a lot of good relationships, especially in our evening programs, which if they didn't spend the night, they wouldn't get the opportunity to have a campfire or a night hike and face their fears in the dark. So it's a good mix.
That's awesome. That's great. So if you're working with kids, you must have a lot of experiences then. Is there a special standout moment for you with the student?
Yeah, it's tough because I get a little bit of an adrenaline rush after every program that I think went well. But I think my favorite was probably we had a school from a Mount Desert Island come, and so they're obviously really familiar with the ocean. And it was downpouring and really cold, and there was white caps, and they didn't want to go outside. They're like, let's just like have free time inside. We still went down to the tide pools, and we were at Little Moose Island, and we were all freezing and dumping out our boots full of water. But we ended up having the best program I had all fall, I think, because we were just so passionate about the intertidal, and we were finding crabs, and I was teaching about how sea stars eat with their stomachs and how periwinkles like curl up and have little igloos to hibernate in the winter. And they were just so excited because even though they live on an island, they didn't know a lot of this facts. So it's crazy that they like live there, but they don't know about their ecosystem because they're not taught it. So it's really fun. And I think they had some great memories afterwards that they'll remember. And they all wrote thank you notes afterwards about how they had a great time, even though it was downpouring and the other groups were miserable. We had an awesome time. So it's really rewarding.
It is interesting how you can live in a place and just have blinders on to certain things. And once you're shown it, your mind just opens like, why didn't I see that before? And that's what you do, is you open people's minds. That's great. How can teachers or parents learn more about this?
Yeah, so on our website and as well as on an NPS website, we have links, and you can contact Alexa Pisano if you're a teacher, and you can get in. We're really booked up. We have a lot of schools that are interested, but we do offer scholarships if you are a lower income school and still want the opportunity to come.
Great. So the National Park Service website and the Schoodic Institute website.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Thank you, Michaela.
Thanks, Bruce.
Yeah. Next up is Olivia. I saved the hard questions for
Oh, wonderful.
last. So same question that I started with the other two fellows is, how did you become interested in conservation and your little niche, which is science communication, as your chosen field?
Yeah, so like you said, my name's Olivia. I'm from East Tennessee, actually, which is a bit farther than upstate New York or Maine. So I am getting used to the winter here. Send your thoughts and prayers, please.
And the dark.
Yeah, and the dark. Lordy, it gets dark really early. But I had the resource of the Great Smoky Mountains in East Tennessee that I grew up going to. And I also grew up hunting and fishing with my dad. And I think through that way, understood the importance of having a harmonious relationship between people and the environment. And I actually have a background in ecology. I studied disease ecology and wildlife disease in undergrad, specifically frog disease, which is a little different from my work now. But when I was doing some really narrow research, I found it really rewarding. But I felt limited by, the number of questions that I could ask. and search for answers for. And I feel like through a career in science communication, which is what I'm working on now, I get to ask a bunch of different scientists, what question did you devote your life to answering? And so I get, a million answers to a million questions instead of spending a lot of time answering one. So yeah, that's kind of how I came to my path as a science writer or aspiring science writer, I guess, here at Schoodic Institute.
That's a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
That's great. How is science communication different from other types of communication, and why is it so important?
Yeah, so it's similar in that you're trying to share a message with a broad audience, but it's different, and I think makes it a little bit harder because the ideas that we're sharing are really complex and often technical. The science of climate change. If you get down to the really nitty gritty and the physics of it, it's hard for a lot of people to understand, myself included. And so, as science communicators, being able to translate some more technical science into the vernacular that's more understandable and absorbable by the general public is difficult, but really, really important. And I think also another thing that like scientists don't really like to introduce like emotion into science or feelings at all, but I think that feelings are really important and emotion is really compelling. And the most important part, or a important part of any narrative. So being able to kind of infuse emotion into narratives and into science to make people really care about the challenges that our changing environment is facing.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can have a lot of book knowledge, but if once your emotion is involved in something,
Mhm.
it brings you to a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Yeah. What types of media do you use here at Schoodic Institute to help you tell the story of the science happening here?
Yeah, so when I first came here from Tennessee, there were two like main senses that I feel like were really stimulated by the environment. One being sounds, like the sound of the ocean, of the waves, of the shorebirds, of the wind at night, and smell, like of the pines, of the ocean. And while we can't transmit smell quite yet, we can transmit sound across different mediums. So sound is the medium I'm specifically working with in the form of podcasting. You can think of it kind of as like a public radio style show to communicate science to a general audience. I also do some written work as well to sort of complement that. And I'm trying to integrate sound and writing and photography to be for like a more of a multimedia experience and to be accessible to people with access to all different senses. But sound is the one I'm spending a lot of time working with. And it's also really great, like, sorry, to talk about emotion and excitement when you can hear directly from a scientist about their work and you hear that like little bit of joy, of childlike wonder in their voice. And they're like, this is why this complicated topic is so exciting. I think it gets the viewer or the listener on board that much more when they can hear directly from the researchers.
That's great. What has been the most important story you have worked on here in Acadia?
Yeah, so it's less of a story and more of, I guess, an experience that I had a couple months ago. Schoodic Institute hosted a workshop with Wabanaki elders and language speakers, as well as archaeologists and indigenous archaeologists. And for the first time, the archaeological remains and material culture that's housed in the archives at the National Park Service were brought out of the archives and were available for Wabanaki people and language speakers to interact with. And it was my task to record that session for like later analysis and to have in the archives, and to also record the Wabanaki language and the different dialects with the speakers. So I think that was one of the most important things I've done here at Schoodic and just in general in my life, is being able to record and preserve that culture, and just being so being able to support that effort was really meaningful to me.
I'd like to check them out. Where can people go to check out your podcasts and stories?
Yeah, so the Schoodic Institute website hosts a lot of my like shorter written stories. I have a story on the C program. There's actually a photojournalism program that the C students do that, of course, I loved. So there's a story on that program. There's a story on some our climate station we have here. A most recent story on a citizen scientist. Actually, I talked about citizen science. Deb Priest. Hi, Deb, if you're out there in the audience. But yeah, so all those stories are on the Schoodic Institute website. You can actually subscribe to our newsletter and get a little digest of some of the things that I'm writing, as well as other news. But the podcast will be out, I'm hoping, in like February. And you can also find that on our website, hopefully on the NPS website as well.
To subscribe to the newsletter, is that on the website as well?
Yes, yes. I believe there's a spot. I think if you click news, there might be, you can also go to our Facebook or Instagram. I'm sure there are links there as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, thank you.
That was great. I wish I were little again to do that. But I guess you can always volunteer. And that's what's so great about Schoodic is there's so much to do out here. So those of you at home and those of you here, when you get to a computer, we are here to support the Schoodic Institute. So if you feel so inclined, we encourage you to go to the Schoodic Institute website, which is schoodicinstitute.org, to make a donation sometime during the set would be great. We're going to move on to the next set of music. This is a song that I wrote about a river in New Jersey, the Lamington River, which is also where it crosses county lines, becomes the Black River. It's about crossing over the river, but you'll see that much like in the other song where I wrote about the Bell Buoy, very soon after starting the song, it's not really about crossing over a physical river. It's something a little different. Lamington dew, twilight's tears, quench my soul, ease my fears. The riverside song, cry and weep, wrap me safe in restful sleep. I know a place dreams don't die, just beyond the dimming sky. There is a light forever shines, where sorrow ends and love will bind. Well beyond, oh, these mortal captives, farther than our eyes can see, there is a house filled with love, where my darling waits for me. Black River roll, wide and deep, a beckoning love, so true and sweet. Hold out your arms, be my guide, bridge these depths to the other side. Well beyond all these mortal captives, farther than our eyes can see, there is a house filled with love, where my darling waits for me. It's been years that I've been stumbling through this valley shadow play, haunted by this mighty twilight song, pulling me downstream to stay. Yeah, it's pulling me downstream to stay. Well, Lamington Dew, twilight's cheers, quench my soul, ease my fears. There is a light forever shines, where sorrow ends and love will bind. Well beyond these mortal captives, farther than our eyes can see, there is a house filled with love, where my darling waits for me, where my darling waits for me, where my darling waits for me. Thank you. All right. This is a song This is a song that is not mine, actually. It's a song that's written by a very good friend of mine, a songwriter by the name of William J. Hall. And Bill Hall and I, in January, are going to start recording a duo record together. So that should be out sometime in the summer of 2023. We've each written songs, about 5 or 6 songs to go on the record. So it'll be a fun project to work on together. It's nice when, because as a solo artist, it's nice when you get to collaborate with somebody else, because it opens up a whole nother window of opportunity that you don't get when you're just working on your own. This is a song of his called Blue Moon Home Tonight. There's a red-dressed angel sitting next to me. There's a blue moon home tonight. like a great snowy owl, shining pretty as can be. There's a blue moon home tonight. There's a blue moon home tonight. Back where I come from, everything's all right. And he's put the kettle on, the world is black and white. There's a blue moon home tonight. Like the tidal pull, like the river that slips away, rushing far away from home. This world is full of the restless ones who stay, and the reluctant bound to roam. 'Cause there's a blue moon home tonight. Back where I come from, everything's all right. And he's put the kettle on, the world is black and white. There's a blue moon home tonight. There's a blue moon home tonight. Back where I come from, everything's all right. And he's put the kettle on, the world is black and white. There's a blue moon home tonight. Tell you what for true, just as soon as I'm done, I'm going to kiss this place goodbye. What I'm going to do, get back up on my feet and run, right across that painted sky. 'Cause there's a blue moon home tonight. Back where I come from, everything's all right. And he's put the kettle on, the world is black and white. And he's put the kettle on, the world is black and white. And he's put the kettle on, the world is black and white. There's a blue moon home. There's a blue moon home. There's a blue moon home. Tonight. Thank you. We've been talking a lot about Schoodic Point tonight, and how wonderful it is. But a lot of people don't know that there is a darker side. There's said to be just a few hundred yards from here, maybe even on these grounds, the ghost of a woman who is mourning her love, who died 1800s, a long time ago, died on a boat, drowned. And her voice is said to carry through the mist and the wind and the sounds that you hear out there. And her voice is so soft that they gave her the name of Eiderdown. So this is the song about Eiderdown. Now, if you want to sing the chorus, it's really easy because it's Eiderdown, Eiderdown. We can put that on the screen if you want. Eiderdown, Eiderdown. 'Twas years ago on Schoodic Point, I felt your soul pass through me, mysterious as the morning mist, and soft as eiderdown. You gave your love to a sailor fair, who pledged in spring to marry. He said your voice was like the wind, and soft as eiderdown. Here we go. But he was swallowed by the sea when autumn gales turned stormy. Fate left you weeping on the rocks, your darkness filled with mourning. You spent your sorrow on that shore, staring in the water, singing to the wind with waves, your voice like eiderdown. Here comes the chorus. When you breathe your last, your ashes cast to join your sailor fair, glittering in the ocean breeze, as soft as eiderdown. One more time. Eiderdown. hear it told out on Schoodic Point, how the waves and the winds still hold a voice that drifts just like morning mist and soft as eider down. Hey, thank you. Thank you for singing too. A couple more for you. It's a song that has become a favorite, one of the greatest hits, I guess. It's called Just One More, and you may see some people in the audience doing little hand motions, so if you want to be part of the in crowd, there's a place where you string your pearls, so you can just like string pearls, because you'll see people doing it. Mothers read our favorite stories to chase the storms away. Dads helped to catch those fireflies at the close of a summer's day. Our dogs ran through the yard, laid their heads upon our laps. There's not much we wouldn't give to get those simple pleasures back. For one more hour, 1 month more, one more year as we remember from before. Here it comes. String your pearls of memories. It won't be long before you're wishing on your knees for just one more. That was very good. Lovers in the tall grass, kisses 'neath the pier, wedding strollers, children's hands, lives we hold so dear. Families grow and dwindle in the cascading of time. Through our goodbyes we whisper, I wish that you were mine. For one more hour, 1 month more, one more year as we remember from before. String your pearls of memories. It won't be long before you're wishing on your knees for just one more. Blind men yearn to see the mountains. Deaf men thirst to hear the sea. From the touch of a lover to the laughter of a child, it's the moments of a lifetime that we'll seek, slipping by unrecognized by you and me. Sons and daughters moved away, parents long passed through. Sometimes we think we hear them call the way they used to do. You walk through that kitchen door tonight, and I can't help but stare. I want to capture every moment of us while we both are here. One more hour, 1 month more, another year as we remember from before. String your pearls of memory. It won't be long before you're wishing on your knees for 1 more hour, oh, 1 month more, another year as we remember from before. String your pearls of memory. Won't be long before you're wishing on your knees. It won't be long before we're wishing on our knees for just one more. Thank you. All right, you guys have been a great audience, live and on Zoom. Hi, guys. I have to do this. I know Liz is watching, so hey, Liz. Again, SchoolticInstitute.org. Please go there and consider making a donation for Giving Tuesday. Maybe even tomorrow, make it Giving Wednesday. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's a great organization. My wife and I are supporters. I'm not just here playing music. I really believe in this organization. It's fantastic, and they do a lot of great work. So they definitely deserve our support. What a gift to have them on this peninsula. It's just amazing. This is a song called Dreams, and sort of tradition to end all my shows with this song. It's a lullaby. Some of you may know the words. If you want to know the words, come on up and sing. No, you can sing right there, or come on up. I don't care. Is finished, time to rest. Lay your head on my chest. Close your eyes, be worryless in dreams. While you sleep, I will be here. Holding close, don't you fear. Darling, I won't disappear in dreams. You will hear me when the owl calls, whispering in snowfall. I'll I'll love you till the stars fall. I will be the moon-kissed breeze, softly fanning across your cheek. Day is finished, time to rest. Lay your head on my chest. Close your eyes, be worryless in dreams. Day is finished, time to rest in dreams. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for being with us this evening. Thank you. My website is GordonThomasWard.com if you'd like to check out more about what I do. And I'm going to toss it back to Nick.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Come
you
on
very
down and
much.
be on camera.
Gordon, thanks so much for sharing your music with us this evening. And thanks so much, everybody, for coming out, for both being here in the auditorium as well out in the interwebs, and for also just for playing your part, playing your role in creating a better future for parks people and the planet. And so thank you so much. And I think we have time for those who want to stick around for any questions for Gordon and for our three fellows as well, for Maya, Michaela, and Olivia. And again, please, thanks for your support for Schoodic Institute. You can find the big purple donate button on our website, schoodicinstitute.org. So yeah, with that, thank you all, and happy to give some tough questions now to Gordon. Maybe the fellows should be asking some questions now, some hard questions.
For any of us. Yes. Talk a little bit about my wonderful guitars. Yeah, they're like my children. They mostly are all Taylor guitars. This was custom made for me. That's a Walkabout dulcimer. It's like a dulcimer that you play like a guitar, because I don't sit down when I play. So they're all made of solid woods. This one is bear claw spruce and figured maple back and sides. This one here is Alcoa. This is the Walkabout. That's right. The camera doesn't probably go over that way. That's a Walkabout. This is the Grand Concert body. It's smaller. It's great for finger picking. And this is all Alcoa wood. Also is all Alcoa wood, but it's not stained. Doesn't have the same stain on it. Alcoa wood is an endangered wood, but before you start throwing tomatoes, I know Taylor Guitar has bought up a lot of Alcoa wood from trees that are already down, or already dead and down. So they're definitely not harvesting new trees. This, sorry baby. This baritone 8-string is spruce top and rosewood back and sides. And last but not least, this 12-string is all walnut. All walnut. So they are like my children. But thanks for asking. Any other questions for our fellows, maybe, or me? It doesn't matter. Yes. what brought me here to this general area? My parents started to come up here for vacations when I was 6 years old. And Schoodic just resonated with me because of the ocean and because of the small town atmosphere. The town that my wife and I moved up from in New Jersey in 2019 had a population about the size of Winter Harbor. So it felt like home. And we built a house here, and we didn't want to go too much further up the coast because we wanted to be within reasonable range of the airport for kids and grandkids coming in. And if we had to go to Ellsworth, it's not too far away. And once you get up the coast a little bit more, it's a much longer trip. And this area, I just love the ocean, and I love the rocky shoreline. And I always, when I was about 9 years old, I almost was swept out to sea on the point out here, and something saved me. Something unseen saved me. It pushed me down on the rock and pulled up on my collar, and my mother saw that, and she always said that an angel saved me out there. So every time I go out there, I think of what happened from the time I was 7 years old, 8 years old to now that almost did not happen. So this whole area, just because of that and the ocean, I just love it. I just love it. And the best time, you guys probably know what the best time I think to go out there is during a storm. And you just watch the Downey's fireworks, which is what it's called, when the surf hits the rock, and it's great. It's great. Yeah, like today was not a great day out there. I mean, it'd be a beautiful day, but the water was kind of flat, and a little. But yeah, to get the big splashes, you gotta time it right, and yeah. But it's a great area. What's not to like? I love. Yes. So the question was that we've been to Schoodic, the fellows, a lot of the fellows, or many of the fellows, all of the fellows have been here before. Maybe not. I don't know. But
We have now.
and so what has, having been here and lived here, vacationed here, spent some time here, what has surprised us about the area? Do you guys want to have any answers? You can come up and answer that. I mean, I'm not put you on the spot, but like, if you had an answer.
Okay, sure. Well, so I'm actually from Maine, but I think what surprises me most, well, actually, walking up here tonight, I looked up and saw a shooting star. And even being from Maine and being lucky enough to look up and see the stars most nights that are clear, I will never stop being surprised walking out of, we live here, and so we walk out, and the first thing that we see, if you look up, is just an infinite universe. And that's, I think, one of the most beautiful things about this place. Yeah.
Yeah, you can really understand. Yeah, thank you. You can understand how people would see, figures and things in the stars. If you're from the New York area or any large city, the light obliterates it. So maybe you can see the Big Dipper, maybe, but you come up here and it's like there's the Milky Way. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in New York City a month ago and I saw 4 stars in the sky. And yeah, it was wild. But I think the thing that surprised me the most, so this is my first time here. I mean, I've been living here for 6 months now, but it's my first time in the area, is how Schoodic Point looks different every single day I go out to it. Something I've been doing now that the sun sets before 4 p.m. Is I personally am not observing daylight savings time because I think it's a curse. And so I work from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so at 3 p.m. I go out to the point and I take a walk and I watch the sunset, which is a depressing sentence to say. but every time it looks different, whether it's cloudy or not, it's always beautiful. Whether you're looking at the sun or you're looking at, the western side of the sky, especially now in winter, all the purples and all the blues of the winter sunsets. So yeah, I was journaling about it, and it just really struck me how a lot of the times I'm up there alone, especially in the winter, and how I'm seeing something that no one else is going to see, and how other people have seen, things I can't even imagine from the same very view of Schoodic Point. So Mary Oliver has this quote: "Attention is the beginning of devotion," and I feel like the more attention that I pay to the world around me and to Schoodic Point in particular as a place to return to, the more I love it.
That's a great answer. I always thought that they should do daylight savings time on the winter solstice, so that at least you're like, oh, it's dark, but it's not going to get any darker. It could give you a little bit more hope, start at that point. I think for me, the biggest surprise was, okay, so I spent my entire life near Burnsville, New Jersey, and never lived more than maybe 30 miles from there, if that, my whole life. And my wife and I were both saying this, how we feel, because of all of you, we feel more at home up here than we ever did in New Jersey. So that was the surprise, and a very welcome surprise at that. And that's due to all of you and the people in this area. Yeah, so thank you for that. Anything else? I didn't want to cut you off. Did you have any surprise? The tide? Yeah. Yeah. She's saying the tide. Yeah, it can be, pretty extreme at times. We did a vacation in the Gulf of Mexico, around the Gulf of Mexico, where here they have 2 high tides and 2 low tides a day. But because there's no outlet in the Gulf of Mexico other than that one outlet into the Atlantic Ocean, they have 1 tide a day, and it's not that great. Because we were watching the dock, and it maybe went down like 6 inches. We're like, where are the tides? It was so weird to be on the Gulf, like an ocean, and like, where are they? You got to come to Maine for really good tides. And Bay of Fundy, like up there, up in Nova Scotia, it's even bigger than it is here. Like, I forget, like 19-foot tides or something. It's incredible. Awesome questions. Thank you all. I don't know if we're still online, but thank you for watching. Yeah, anything else? Thank you.